Hello there. Are we live now? We are live. Hello there, everybody. Let's see who's in the house. There's 12 Stones Ranch and Trish. Trish, that's Full Blown Country's wife. Hot Hat Creek Homestead. Treasure Hunter. Wow, they're really jumping. Tiny Tim Posey. Paul Honeyman. Randy Moore. Rebecca Davis. I got something to show, Rebecca. All right, let's get Bar Run Forge right in here. Get started. Hello there.
Right to it, huh?
Yeah, let's just get right into it because my dyslexia is really acting up tonight.
I understand.
And it's jumping. This is crazy. How many? We already got 19 people in here.
Yeah, that's great. Wonderful.
So how are you doing this evening?
Doing good. We're a little on the crazy and tired side right now. Just a ton going on here, and we just had a tornado come through about 6-8 miles from here this evening. So we had to go out and assess and see if there was any major damage. We had a barn damaged a couple weeks ago in a storm, and the storm came through and just did more damage. So we'll have to get the insurance folks back out here again and go through that fun stuff.
What did it do? Pop out the clear light of the barn?
It popped that out, and we haven't got insurance taken care of yet. So that hasn't been replaced because the insurance hasn't done their thing yet. And then the big door, one of the big two doors, got all buckled up and torn up in the last one. Well, the door is on top of the barn right now, so we'll have that to deal with.
Well, it's a good thing his new house wasn't there when that happened.
Yeah.
He just got that. Wow. I was watching the video saying that you were going to get it and showing the where you were going to lay it down. And the water line and the what was the other? Power.
Yep, we got the conduit laid for the power to come in, the sewer line, the water line. It was all sitting ready to go for it, and the pad was ready, and poof, there it was.
Like dang, the next day or whatever it was bam, you had that video out. Well, that's really cool. That's a nice looking shed.
Yeah, it's going to be great for him. I'm excited for him. We went in yesterday and did a blue tape layout and just kind of put things in their proper position. And
are they in here yet?
I think I saw him in here. there. So we got that all laid out in his position, so we can he did a walkthrough about how he liked things, and then we changed a few things, and I think it's going to be really good for him.
Is it going to break it up much? I mean, is it going to just have the bathroom, bedroom, and the rest of is open?
Yeah, all the way to the back will be his bedroom and a long closet. That was one of the things he really wanted, was a kind of a full-size closet. So one end of the bedroom will be all closet, and then he'll get a full washer, dryer, laundry room space and a full bathroom. And the kitchen living space is going to be a lot more than we really anticipated once we laid it out, and it gives him plenty of countertop and kitchen space and plenty of living space as well. So it's really going to be fantastic for him.
What is the size of that?
The interior space is 16 by 40, and then it's got a 6-foot porch on the front of it. So I think it comes out to about 640 some square feet, something like that, total interior space.
Well, that's not a small shed.
No.
At all.
That company only makes one more size bigger. So he got pretty much the biggest one that they can transport. The other ones they have to build on site.
Yeah, and those deliveries can be pretty scary. I've seen some botched deliveries.
Yeah, there was one little part where he was making it up onto the pad where the whole thing went, And I was like, can I make you pucker just a little bit? The guy working things was so good about it. The moment it started making that little turn like that, he set it down, reset, slick as a whistle.
Yeah, well, they do it every day.
Yeah, yeah.
They know what they're
Hi
doing.
everybody on the chat. I'm looking up here. I was telling Brian earlier. I got the big screen TV up in front of me, so I can see all the chats up there. So I don't have to try to read them up here. So I'm just kind of waving. I waving to everybody like you guys know I'm up here. You know, that's so silliness. You guys are there. You're there, not here.
Where did my YouTube chat go? Oh, there it is. See,
Yeah, there's a lot of these people I know about. It's
oh,
great. I know just about everybody up on the chat. It's really cool. Paul Honeyman, JB Conway, Misplaced Country Girl, Susie Jacobson, Devil Dog, Ura, Hat Creek Homestead, Kyle Jones. Hey Kyle, 12 Stones Ranch, Lazy Days Ahead, Brenda at Redbird, Treasure Hunter, Aroki Homestead, T&J Homestead. That's a new one to me. I don't know if I've ever connected with him.
excuse me for a second. I'm just trying to get this. I went to display before and it gave me large letters. I need large letters. That's brightness. Scale.
Kyle Jones, I had a
I,
Moxie yesterday. There's still some Moxie left around. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to drink a Moxie. And Kyle brought me some Moxie from Maine when he was here.
who's Kyle?
Kyle's on the chat in there.
Kyle Jones.
Yeah. Kyle came to see us for our gathering, our annual gathering, and had just an amazing time with he and his lovely wife Rebecca, and she got to hang out with Mamaw, my mom, and I think she's adopted her, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we had a great time, and it was really funny because as everybody was coming, we had people from, as I told Brian, we had people coming from Connecticut, Maine, the state up north, and if you're from Ohio, you understand what the state up north is. The state up north is, I'm gonna apologize for swearing on TV, Michigan.
Yeah, you told me.
And then Indiana, and then we had North Carolina and South Carolina. So we had several states, and it was really funny because everybody was kind of bringing their own local pop, local soda, local drink, and kind of a sample of all that. So it was a lot of fun.
It sure does sound like a lot of fun.
It was. It was. We made, and Kyle
You've been
can
doing a lot of gathering stuff lately, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. Kyle can correct me, but I think we made 9 hammers in one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were they all different ones, or were they the same?
A little bit different. Everybody kind of had their own flair on it. We had one team working on I think it was about a 4-pound rounding hammer, and I think Kyle ended up with it actually. And then everybody else got about a 1.5 pound cross peen or straight peen hammer. So everybody that was there, that was my goal, was for everybody who came to leave with something that was made there for the weekend. And so I chose to make these little hammers and then the one big hammer.
That would be cool. And I've done a lot of things, but metal is something that I just haven't gotten to yet, either welding or forging or anything with metal.
Yeah. And 12 Stones is asking the question, 12 Stones Ranch, asking the question, what pulled you into blacksmithing and why do you still do it? And that was one of our questions we were going to talk about, wasn't it?
Talk about that.
talk about segue.
Talk about it now. Let's go ahead.
I think that's what they call a segue, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was a good
segue. Well, there actually is a video on the channel. If you go to Bar Run Forge, that's BARRUNFORGE. Anyway, Eli does it better than I do. You go to the channel, there actually is a kind of an origin story for why I got into blacksmithing. When I was a little kid, we used to go to this place called Mabry Mill. It's on the Blue Ridge Parkway. And it was my dad's favorite place on the planet. He absolutely loved this place. And they had everything. They had real time bluegrass music. Appalachian music with the dulcimers and the whole bit. They had people making baskets, which is where my mom learned to make baskets, baskets and sewing and quilting and all that kind of stuff. And then they had an actual operating grist mill, which my dad was enamored with. Um, and they had a sorghum. They made sorghum molasses, but they had a blacksmith shop. And I was just always drawn to the blacksmith shop. And the crazy part was there was a guy that worked in the blacksmith shop. His name was Festus. That literally was his God-given name was Festus. And a really funny part about that is that he was the blacksmith. His name is Festus, which is an Anglican version of Hephaestus, and Hephaestus was the blacksmith of the gods.
Oops.
In mythology, Hephaestus was the blacksmith, and so Festus, he had to be a blacksmith, right? Anyway, and he even drove like an exact replica of the General Lee from the Dukes of Hazzard and all that kind of stuff. And he was a character, and he was a piece of shoe leather with a hat. He was just a really cool dude. And 5, 6 years old, I'm going to this place, and dad would go to the mill, mom would go to the quilt making, the basket making. I don't know where the other two siblings went. They probably stayed close to one of the other parents. They would literally could leave me. Festus had a little stump, and he allowed me to come in the blacksmith shop and just sit down. They could leave me at the blacksmith shop. They knew I wasn't going anywhere. And I could sit there for hours and hours and hours. And every time I go back, I just wanted to watch Festus. I didn't care about the other stuff. I just wanted to watch Festus blacksmith. So years go by, and I've worked in a couple different jobs. My main income has pretty much always been located ministry, and just never really got the opportunity. And I go places and see blacksmithing, and I go watch it and stuff like that. Well, August of 2019, I was at a local antique machinery show in Georgetown, Ohio. And we'd gone to the machinery show for several years, and I take some of my antique tractors there. Um, so I poked my head in the blacksmith shop, see what they were doing. And there was a guy by the name of Mike Pasquale in there. And I was watching Mike do what he was doing. And I said, "Hey, can I see what you're doing?" He said, "Sure, come on in." There was a folding chair sitting there. So I plopped down on the folding chair, watched him for a little bit. And Mike's got kind of a gruff, gravelly voice. And finally he said, "Well, you gonna swing the hammer or not?" Okay. So I got up and grabbed the hammer and started beating on metal, and I was had. I mean, that was it. That was all there was to it. I was gonna do blacksmithing, and about a month later, I got a hold of my coal forge at a super good deal, and I literally had to take it in one of our barns. And every time I wanted to forge, I had to pick it up with the forklift. It was so heavy. I had to pick it up with the forklift, take it outside, light it up. I didn't have an anvil yet. I found my great grandpa's or great great grandpa's old anvil in the barn, one of the barns that had broken off horn. Didn't even have a horn on it. So oh my gosh, I had nothing. I had one hammer, and I was just like, nope, I got to keep doing this. I was doing it with charcoal, which is kind of an inferior way to do it in comparison to coal or coke. But man, I was just so drawn to it. And then I looked over at we had an old hog barn, farrowing house, and we hadn't used it for 30 years or more. And it was a catch-all. You know how it is on farms. There's one place that just catches all the stuff. So I talked to everybody. I said, "Hey, how about I take that part over as a shop?" And sure enough, I started cleaning it out, put the forge in there, and just boom, all of a sudden things just took off. And
isn't it funny how things like that happen? They just
yeah. And of course, about that time, I was like, first part of 2020, I thought, I'm having so much fun with this. I kind of like to document my journey doing blacksmithing. There's this
next.
there's this thing called YouTube, and I thought, well, I'll just do that. I'll put out a few videos. Nobody will care. Nobody will even look at them. Nobody cares about a guy that's only been blacksmithing for a couple months. And then the pandemic hit, and everybody was watching stuff. So we kind of creeped along, and then my son came after he graduated college, came to live with us and work, and I said, hey, would you mind helping me out with this channel and doing some of the editing, giving the technology help? He said, sure, whatever. And
And
then
he
he
fell in
was
love.
in, and then he fell in love with blacksmithing, and then now he's in as well.
Yeah,
So
he's doing it too. Did you bring any show and tells?
you know what? I did not. If you give me just a second, I can go grab a couple things
Sure, you go
that are
right
fairly
ahead.
close. So entertain the
Everybody.
people for a little bit, Brian.
Oh no, you're gonna leave me alone with these people?
Yeah, yeah.
Not with the loose faucet.
I'll be right back.
Don't leave me alone with loose faucet. Things again. Yeah, isn't it funny the way things like that happen? You go to an event and the next thing you know, you're picked up a new form of art or hobby or something.
Yeah, and in case you're wondering, yes, I'm putting a blanket across my legs. It's a habit thing. It's not that I'm cold. I just do it.
I do it
Kind of
because I
old.
have a dog that likes to lay in my lap.
Okay, so I'm going to show you the very first thing that I forged on my own.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
Just
And
a
that's
simple toasting fork is what they call it. So that's the first thing I made on my own.
I almost thought you were going to show me a flux spoon.
Oh, we've made those too. And then kind of more recently, I actually did this on our lives, is this hat hook coat hook with a different kind of scroll on the end there,
Oh, that's really cool.
and copper
Oh,
rivets.
oh, no, okay. Are the end pieces one piece to the main part?
Yeah, this piece is all one piece, and then the copper is riveted to that piece, and then the hooks are separate pieces. So there's only, other than the rivets, there's the copper piece, the three hooks, and then the main piece. So
Wow.
that's that piece there, and it was just
Well,
something I had close.
I can see why you would get into that. I love doing all kinds of art related design, and I will watch anything. So even
Yeah,
if I don't do it, I'll watch it.
and I've
Um,
always liked like fabricating and stuff like that. I'm not a great welder, but I will weld some things up and fabricate, and I've always enjoyed that. And the thing I think I love the most about this, it's like this piece here. Okay, one of the first pieces I ever made, if not, it's the first piece I made on my own. This starts out as one solid piece of square material. Woodworking stuff like that, to make something like this, you'd have to cut material out, or take material off and do things with that material. We
yeah.
don't I don't take anything off of this.
So you split that on the fork.
Yeah, that's split.
Yeah.
This is all tapered down. That's all twisted. This is one piece of metal and nothing taken from it. And that's one of the things I love about it, is it's shaping that metal to create that form.
See, I don't know anything about forging, but is welding with forging a no-no, or is it?
No, some of I want to say the purists will tell you that the arc welder, as we call it, because there's a couple different kinds of welding. The arc welder, say for instance the MIG or TIG or stick welder, it is cheating. But if I went and talked to Festus and the old guys that did it, and somebody offered them a welder, they'd use it. They used the technology as it came to them. They weren't so stuck in the idea that forging was the only kind of way to do that. Now, there is a thing called forge welding. So you get the two pieces of metal hot enough that they actually meld or weld together, and that's the original kind of forge or original kind of welding is forge welding. So they get them to a certain temperature, smash them together, and they will stick and they will create one piece of metal.
And that's what you were doing with that wood splitter, right?
That's correct.
Where the handle with the handle hole split a little bit, and
you
were showing what could happen.
Yep. And it's going to get fixed. And Cindy Brown was asking what I thought of the 41.36. Great, amazing. Those, it's so funny. I'm just like those young people, and I've got to thinking. I'm saying young people. I'm now old enough to say the words young people. Those folks are killing it. They're just doing an amazing job.
Young.
And yes, Kyle, that forge can get very, very hot. It's an amazing piece of equipment.
Do you have any idea what temperatures you're dealing with?
Yeah, most coal forges are running probably in the 24 to 2600. I think we're probably pushing 28 to 3000.
Yeah, by the time you felt that, you'd be in trouble.
Oh yeah, I'm so old, Troy. Yeah.
What's that?
It probably Terry said you're so old, Troy. Yeah. Hey, it's not the age, it's the miles.
Are you 48?
I'll be 50, not before too long. I'm still 49, but I'll be 50.
I'm 51. So
it's not the age, it's the miles. I keep saying that.
Well, if I cut this off, I'd probably look younger. But oh well.
Hey, no, I know I've said this before, and some of the people already know this. My wife is a fan of the salt and pepper hair, and she was like, "Oh, I wish you had salt and pepper hair and with the beard and everything." I said, "Honey, you're never going to get salt and pepper out of me. You get cinnamon and sugar."
Well, that could be good.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
No. She'll have to settle for it anyway.
That's right. I'm having fun looking at the chat. You guys are great. You guys is fantastic.
What do we got? What do we got in here? Let's see.
Actually, Jesse and Lisa put up the origin story. They found it. They found the video for the origin story.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Hello there, Lazy Days Ahead.
You guys got some good. You got some good moderators now.
Yes, 12 Stones Ranch, Lazy Days Ahead, Simply Jan.
Simply Jan.
MT
Wish I could have met her.
Well,
that was kind of the shame of it all. Heading out to Arkansas, I didn't get to meet as many as I really wanted to. There were several that we just couldn't get it to happen.
I might just be asking Simply Jan a question soon. So.
Okay.
Not in this video.
Okay.
She probably knows what it'll be.
Well, I was going to sit back and wait for you to, okay, we'll go ahead and ask her. Uh-oh. Is it just me now? Did he bow out? Hi, everybody. If it's just me. Retro. Wah, wah, wah. I'm going to say hi real quick. Jesse and Lisa and everybody else that if I didn't see anybody, Jan, Simply Jan, and Full Blown Country. If I said hi to you guys. Troy got big. Here he comes. He's coming back.
That scared me. I thought I totally went out. Did anybody else notice that? Because it just went blank.
Yeah, it just went blank. 12 Stones asked if Eli will be recording the interior build of the shed house, and we will. That's going to be a part of a series. Oh yeah, you got to do it.
What is she?
Had 2 lives all the time. Yeah.
I can't see. No, I'm the worst moderator, Terry. That's why nobody picked me. Oh, there are countries in here.
Be safe, Terry.
And I see. Where did I see her? I saw Rebecca.
Yep.
Troy, you can handle this. You do 5 all the time. Was she referring to when the camera went out?
Yeah. So I was kind of left on the big screen, left big, and they were like, ah.
Let's take a moment for Rebecca, Touched by Yarn, sent me something.
Yeah, very cool.
And I hear you're supposed to be getting something too.
So I hear. We will do that, 12 Stones.
I have talked to Rebecca on live chat or, on Messenger. And she was telling me her stories of why she got into making hats. Oh, she shrunk wrapped in there.
Wow.
I need some scissors.
For your protection, I'm sure.
Wow, they're bigger than I thought they would be. I mean, just because she was showing me them on video, and they just look smaller than this. But she made one for me and Papa.
Oh, very good.
Oh, wow. Wow, those are nice hats. Excuse me for a second while I look over.
That's all right. Now I got something to look forward to. Look at that.
Hey, I like it. Now I really look like grumpy.
No, you look like maybe you could be in a biker gang or something.
No, I'd have to be going like this down the road.
There it is. It's just flapping.
And then Papa's getting the green one.
Nice.
These are really nice hats, Rebecca. Wow, thank you so much, and I'm honored because I've seen other people get their hats from Rebecca, such as Treehaven got. I think Treehaven got one. Wasn't he showing that yesterday in his live?
Yeah.
And then Robertson's Belly Acres. It seems like there was one more that I saw that got one.
Yeah, I did see Rusty and Rachel get them. Rusty needs it more.
Yeah. Well, I need it too. I don't have any hair either.
Oh, man.
Did you notice I went off screen to put it on?
I did see that.
I don't let people see me. Let's see what's in the chat. Let's see what she said.
Oh no, Cindy Brown. I see bikers with wearing beanies. They do it.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Thank you for letting me bless you with these beautiful hats.
Well, that is a blessing.
Me for letting you bless me?
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you.
I'm the one who's blessed. Oh, that is a nice hat. Man, when I'm plowing this winter, this is going to be great.
That is precisely what I was just thinking. I'm thinking Western New York.
I love it. I love it.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Someday I'm going to have you on a live.
Yeah.
I've already talked to her about that a little bit. She's going to start her channel, and when she does and she gets out some videos, we'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that she's got I think she's got 98 subscribers and she doesn't even have any videos?
No content. Yeah.
That's amazing. That goes to show how people like her.
Absolutely.
All right. Good work, Rebecca. That's what Treasure Hunter said. But you know
that
what?
is a good look.
Just a second. What are you doing? Just a second. Dad, I'm live right now. What are you doing? Well, what do you want? What do you want me to do about it?
The Beanie Bikers gang, dude.
Oh, Papa says thank you for that hat. For some reason, he can't message. So I'll tell her. Or why don't you tell her? Tell her. Dad.
Yes?
Tell her.
Rebecca, thank you for that hat. That green is my favorite color.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's Papa for anybody. Oh, it says it right there on the phone. But you can watch the video, right, Dad?
Yes, I'm watching the video.
All righty. Well,
thank you, Rebecca.
Okay, say hi to Troy.
Hi, Papa.
Say hi to Troy, Dad.
How you doing, Troy?
Fantastic. Even better now I got to hear you.
My dad was a blacksmith also, so I know a little bit about it.
Yeah, we love hearing those stories. Pretty much everywhere we go, we have somebody say, you know, my grandpa was a blacksmith, my dad was a blacksmith, and it's really kind of fun to kind of spark those, no pun intended, spark those memories.
Yeah, he made horseshoes. My grandfather did.
Yep.
All right.
Brenda and 12 Stones, I'm going to get your questions.
I'll let you guys go. Enjoy your evening. Good night.
Okay.
Take care.
Good night, Dad. I'll talk to you in the morning. It's funny. That's the second time he's called me while I was doing it live. You know what, Rebecca? This is a hat. This hat is hot. I think I'm gonna have to change into my regular one so I don't burn up.
While you're doing that, is it okay if I answer a question on the chat?
Go ahead.
Okay. Brenda at Redbird said, how many kids do I have and grandkids, or any grandkids? We have 3 children, and I have 2 are Eli and Abby, and then our oldest is Justin, and he's the one that has given us 2 grandsons. So we have Ian and Noah. Noah was born about almost 2 months ago. So got 2 grandkids and 3 kids. And then my favorite thing to work on in blacksmithing, the thing that just kind of relaxes me, or is kind of an easy, kind of a repetitious thing to do, is the cook sets. So over your fire pit, you have an upright piece with a hook, kind of upside down shepherd's hook on it, and then a cross piece that goes on that as well. And the ones I make, you can also set them up as a tripod. And then you can hook a S hook on it to hang a pot, or sometimes I make trammels. They're adjustable hooks that you can pick different holes for, and make swing outs and all kinds of stuff. But the simple set, that's kind of just, if I just want to go beat on metal, that's one of the ones I go to first. I like doing some of the architectural and structural stuff too. I really enjoy that.
Now, can I ask you about your rivet? I saw you doing that rivet the size of a, that you would use for the Titanic.
Yeah.
What in the world would you use a rivet that size for at this day and age?
Yeah. There are some structural pieces that require that. Kyle Jones says, I love to make scrolls. You hush. I do like making scrolls, but there's a certain guy who's really, really good at making scrolls who watches our channel, and it's kind of a really funny thing. It's an inside joke from Kyle. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, you would use that on some heavy structural pieces, and we've made a few pieces that require not great big rivets, but pretty good size rivets.
That was
thank you, Brenda.
Thank you, Brenda. Pretty big rivet. It was
riveting. Yeah. It's riveting, for sure.
Okay, what is the divot that you made with the little rivet in the top of it? What is that
for? So if you're talking about basically what they call the bucking bar, that kind of L-shaped piece, it goes in the hardy hole. And so if you're working on a piece that kind of requires to be supported, so you can put the rivet upside down, and that fits that particular rivet head size. It kind of keeps it locked into place and keeps the rivet head rounded. Otherwise, if you put a hot rivet in and you put it on a flat surface, you'll smash that rivet flat, and it won't have that rounded look to it. So it's a couple different. It's just secure the rivet, and also to keep the rivet head in its form. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was cool. I watched that this morning.
Yeah, that was a piece we've been looking forward to making for a long time.
Our Okie Homestead Just a second here. Let's see.
Have you ever experienced heat stroke or heat exhaustion while forging? I'm pretty aware of that. That's one of those things that I keep a pretty close tab on. There's always fluids around me. I'm always drinking fluids no matter what I'm doing. So it can happen, and it can run up on you quick. But I've just learned to listen to my body enough to know not to get to that point.
Yeah, I would imagine on a hot day you probably wouldn't want to do forging.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why we really we kind of went overboard on the shop, and we're actually going to have air conditioning at some point in time in the shop. I've got some health conditions that cold and hot don't work real good for me, so I want to work year round on blacksmithing. So I want a fairly comfortable environment. But we keep fans going. We got cross ventilation. The shop is fairly well insulated, so I try to keep track of that.
That's cool, Troy. That's cool, Troy. So, yeah, I know what you mean. Working in the heat on a farm all my life, I can't handle the heat very much anymore. I'm very heat sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I can go get on a hay wagon and pretty much just work all day. I've learned over the years kind of what limits are and to pace myself and things like that. So, I don't know how it would be saying down in Texas or someplace like that, but I know how it is here in Ohio. And I mean, Ohio, you guys get hot too. I mean, Ohio, we'll hit 100 degrees this summer and probably more, and we've got pretty high humidity, so it does get hot. I mean, we were in the 90s last week, and pretty high humidity.
So, one of the things we were talking about before we started this live chat was your mission for going down to the southern states.
Oh, down to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some of you guys are actually talking about Anson Ivy at Ivy's Family Factotum. They had mentioned, and he's in blacksmithing as well, so he's connected with the blacksmithing community. And Anson is actually the guy who directed me to Tim at Ridge Life for the Watch and Grows. And so I started watching there. And anyway, Anson mentioned that they were going to be moving to Arkansas. And I said, well, when time comes, I'll do what I can to help. And they bought a camper. So their plan was move the camper to Arkansas, live in the camper while they were preparing their home and their homestead. And they had an old truck that would not pass Virginia inspection, so it wasn't doing them any good. And I'm here to tell you that truck wouldn't have made the trip from Virginia Beach to Arkansas. And I've got a truck. I got a decent dually pickup truck. It's designed to tow. It's designed to pull. I'll come out, get your camper, take it out to Arkansas. And the intent was to have the cost of that part of the move completely taken care of financially, so that they didn't have to worry about that. They're both retired Navy veterans, and I've got a soft spot for veterans. I love our veterans, and so I thought, okay, this is something I just want to do. I just want to go do that thing, go get it, take it out to Arkansas for them, and take care of it. And then our amazing subscribers and people watching us and some other people jumped in and covered the entire cost of fuel. It was close, but when I was coming back, I fueled up the last time, and it was right towards the end of all the money just for fuel. Of course, in between the time I said that and the time we started, fuel prices went up more than $1. So,
well, when we went down to shoot, dang, it was averaging around $3.75. So it wasn't. That's not good, but
yeah.
a lot better than what it is now.
Yeah, we were 509 today here in Ohio.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's no reason for it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So yeah, the crazy part is in the process. I thought, you know what? While I'm at it, I'm gonna be passing through a couple places where there's some people that I would love to catch up with. So we went and got the camper, brought it to Ohio, and then decided to make the other part of the trip. It just so happened that it was Memorial Day weekend, helping a veteran, Memorial Day weekend. Just kind of worked out that way. And then we got to hang out with Tim at Ridge Life, and we were going to meet up with a couple other people. It just didn't work out. We were hoping to get with His Way Homestead, Doug and Shelley. We were hoping to get with Blaine's Promised Land Ranch, Monica and Eric. We didn't get that to happen, but we got to meet up with Tim, and I went to David, Come On Homesteading, and he was my host for the weekend. We went over to the 41.36 and hung out with all of them over there, and then Empty Homestead came, Mike and Terry, Rusty and Rachel from Robertson's Belly Acres, Mama V from Possum Run Homestead was there, and then of course SLR and Country Road Cure. Man, what a good time it was! Fantastic.
Wow. And you guys had quite the spread there too.
Oh man. Yeah, I was like a bloated toad when it was all said and done.
Oh, I could imagine. I would have just kept eating and eating and eating. Why don't you tell us about the story where you ended up makeshift forging something out of a campfire?
All right. I'm surprised anybody even realized that happened. We were sitting around the campfire Friday night, and it was the first fire in David's new fire pit, and the fire was rolling. It was a good hot fire. It had been good cooking fire, and I think somebody kind of wondered, "Hey, I wonder if can you forge on that fire?" I don't know. I didn't think much more about it. I thought, you know what? I don't have anything here. If I wanted to forge, I couldn't forge anything. And then I thought, okay, you know what? I just hopped up and I went to the truck. I remembered throwing a cross peen hammer in the toolbox, and I found a piece of 1/4 inch round stock. And Anson actually gave me a big chunk of forklift tine. It was a pretty good chunk. I thought, what the heck? I'll give it a shot. So I took it back to the fire, dropped that piece of forklift tine just on the gravel, and knelt down in the gravel, stuck the piece in the fire, took a piece of cardboard and waved it to kind of as my bellows to try to get it hot.
I saw
Brought it out.
I believe that was Robertson's Belly Acres video.
Yeah. And then a couple times I got it too close and it caught on fire. And while I was kneeling down on the piece of cardboard, Rusty was pouring water on it to put it out.
You would think that wouldn't get hot enough to do anything.
It actually was reasonable forging temperature. It wasn't super hot, but it was hot enough to actually reform it.
That's pretty cool.
So just made him a simple hook out there and I couldn't see hardly. It was completely pitch dark out there except for the fire. That was the only light we had. But I did it.
Pooch is in the house. Pooch is in the house. So let's talk a little bit about the fact that you've been on that farm for generations. It started with how many generations back?
Well, my great-great-grandfather purchased the farm that we're on right now in 1909.
Yeah, that's 4 generations back.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that was my great-great-grandfather Bar, which is where the Bar Run Forge and farm comes from. There's a creek on the back of the farm called Bar Run. That's the name of the creek on the back. It's called Bar Run. And so we've basically just named everything that's associated with the farm and everything we do with Bar Run. So great-great-grandpa, and then when he passed, my great-grandpa, David, farmed the farm for a long time. And then when he passed, my dad and mom purchased the farm. And then down the line, here comes Troy, and I'm the youngest of 3.
The youngest one always stays.
I guess that's what it is. And my brother and sister are on either end of the farm. They got kind of granted some land, and they kind of do their own thing. but it was always a draw for me to work with Dad on the farm. And then when Dad passed, everything just kind of naturally, I was already doing all the farm work because Dad's health. And so I just continued with that. Now we've since secured the farm for Eli's generation and the generation for him, generation after that. So we've got several generations taken care of. Now there was a point in time between 1900 and 1909 that the gentleman owned the farm that we think was related to us fairly closely, direct relation. But prior to 1900, all the way back to the Virginia Military Survey, another part of our family owned the farm. So other than a 9-year section, our family has owned the farm here for a little over 200 years.
Wow. Are there any original buildings to when?
Not the only thing that would not back to the Virginia Military Survey, but the home farmhouse is 1852, we think, somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Ours is my parents' house, the Vineyard Farmhouse, is 1875, somewhere around there. There is no real direct explanation to that, but we see stuff. And when I'm tearing walls apart and stuff, I see things like in 1942, they did an addition and it was all insulated with 1942 wartime newspaper.
Yeah, we've seen lots of that.
Yeah, and then in 1926, it made front cover of the local newspaper, and it must have been the reason why it made the paper was because I think it had been just, renovated.
Yeah.
And in 1926, we found all this paper in the bathroom area, which would coincide with that.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting what we found and saw in the process of renovating this house.
Oh yeah. There's all kinds of interesting things that happen always when you dig into 170-year-old homes.
But man, that house was built strong.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The 2x4s, the real 2x4s, go from the sill of the house straight up to the peak. I mean, one piece straight as an arrow, all plumb and low. It's amazing how plumb.
Yeah, and that style was called balloon framing.
Balloon framing.
Balloon.
You're talking about how the studs going all the way up.
Yeah, and they literally would just take studs as high as they could go, and then you put your floor joists. If you were doing a second floor, you put your floor joists in wherever you wanted to put them. And so really, when you see a lot of the houses that had either a shorter ceiling or a taller ceiling, it was just a matter of material most times. So if you had 20-foot long 2x, your peak of your roof was 20 foot high, and then you put the ceiling in somewhere. It just depended on what materials you had available, and they were generally only available on your property.
Well, that explains why the upstairs floor was only like, God, if it was like, I don't even think it was quite 7 feet tall, the ceiling, and I took it up about 18 inches. So that really made a difference, actually. It's been interesting.
Yeah, and Ohio has a program where they have what's called centennial, sesquicentennial, and bicentennial farms. I don't know if New York does that or not. So we've qualified for a centennial farm. It has to be a farm that is in full operation by the same family for 100 years. So we're in that list in the state as registered as a centennial farm.
Simply Jan, we did find messages, but you couldn't read them. They were the wood, because it turned so dark, you couldn't see what it was saying. What I think I read pantry, and then there was a date, but you couldn't really make it out. And other things around the house. It was pretty cool.
We had an interesting thing over. We had a farm not too far from here, and it was a dairy farm. And the family that moved out, again, was a family that had been around for 100 years or more. And so what was really interesting is you would open up a door somewhere, some of the old original doors, basically they used the back of their door as a scratch pad and a record keeping. So it was really cool because when you open up the door, the lady there had written down egg prices and how many eggs she sold one day, and it was the same day as D-Day.
Wow.
So she dictated egg prices and how many eggs she sold, and then put D-Day, June 6, 1940. Yeah, it was 44, and it was just really kind of interesting to see that happen, and then other things that would happen, and you could correlate dates with how much corn sold for, or how much chickens were, or, you know, it was really kind of neat. We just figured out the only reason why they ever had to move was because they ran out of scratch pad. So, and in the shop doors, they would have pulley belt patterns for tractors and stuff like that. They just used the walls to draw all their stuff on, and if they had a list of parts for a particular tractor, they had a particular tractor, and they'd list all the parts and all the stuff they'd done to that tractor. It was really kind of neat.
I found stuff like that because we just didn't. We only found like a couple of words in the whole house so far.
Yeah.
And I've pretty much taken it down to the studs because that wood was so dry. It makes me nervous.
Yeah. Yeah.
The interior planks, you have your studs, and then the interior planks, some of them were 16 inches thick or wide.
Yeah.
And, they were just so brittle.
Sure.
For some reason, the 2x4s are solid, but that wood was brittle.
Yeah.
Must have been the type of wood they used.
Well, I'd say it's that too. Plus, it did have plaster over it as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so the plaster is going to suck every ounce of moisture out of there, and they probably operated with wood heat for many years, which is very dry. It'll actually suck the moisture out.
I guess that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my main reason, I mean, you would think you would want to keep that because it's a historical house, but it just looked dangerous to me. I mean, it looked like if that stuff went up, it would go fast. So that's what I did. I was just thinking of something. What was I thinking of? All the windows in your house still have the pulley system.
Oh yeah, but the window weights.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Have you done much construction yourself?
I'll say yes for two reasons. Number one, I'm cheap. I'm a very cheap individual, and so I've just learned how to do things. It kind of comes, I don't want to say it comes naturally. That sounds a little arrogant, but it's something just I have a feel for and an understanding of. And the other part of that is I like to create. I like to build for my own. The house that we're in right now is an addition that I built on to the house that my great grandfather built for my great uncle, so he could stay and live here on the farm. And so it's just kind of such a rewarding thing to be able to walk in this house and say, these made this happen. So construction, we're getting ready to do Eli's house. So that's just kind of stuff that I've learned over the years and tried to take on. I'm not great at it. I've got friends that are fantastic at it. But it's one of those things that I've intentionally learned and taken on these projects and screwed stuff up for sure. But you got to do it.
It's hard for me to want to not only pay for somebody to do something, but to deal with somebody because they take forever. They don't do what they say they're going to do. And they, we had the roof done. That was miserable. We had the brickwork done around the foundation. That was miserable. What was supposed to take 2 weeks took like 3 months.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't show up. And, and once you have somebody doing brickwork, you don't want somebody else coming.
Yeah, you don't want to switch that up.
Because you would probably see it like a sore thumb where one started and the other one stopped. So I don't know. And then we're going to have the shower done in the bathroom that I'm remodeling right now tile work. It's just something I didn't want to practice on. I haven't even done a backsplash for a kitchen or anything with tile. So
yeah, like with tile, I forced myself to learn how to do it and just did it.
I will do it.
Brenda, 100 acres. We're just a small 100-acre farm, just a small family farm.
100 acres is small. More than smaller.
Oh, around here, if you don't have 1,000, you're a small farm.
Yeah, well, maybe we only have 67.
Yeah.
So we're slightly smaller than you're smaller.
So I mean, we've got guys right around us that are 6,000-7,000. One guy's 10,000. So yeah, and really right now in farming, if you don't have 1,000 to 1,500 acres, you can't support a family.
Who had 26-inch wide boards? That's a pretty big board.
That's a monster board.
Right here. Oh no, okay. I lost it. I don't know where that came from.
Rebecca said something about 26-inch wide.
Yeah, she was saying, yeah, but I think it's based on what somebody else said up in the chat earlier. Oh, well, I guess we missed it.
So yeah, everything's perspective. I mean, 100 acres of vineyard is pretty good sized vineyard.
At 36 acres of vineyard, we have 67 total.
But I'm saying 100 acres worth of vineyard would be a pretty good sized vineyard. If you're growing row crops, corn, wheat, soybeans, 100 acres is nothing.
Yeah, I could imagine because, that's nothing. And what are the crops that you typically would do?
Yeah, we're diversified again there for a while when Dad was as sick as he was. We were just down to soybeans and sometimes winter wheat. So now we are back doing hay. We will do wheat and straw and soybeans and corn. So we try to diversify our crops as much as possible on such a small acreage to not end up in October being the only time we get any kind of income off the farm.
Yeah. Well, we used to do all that stuff. We had the fruit stand, and we would do corn and pumpkins and squash and tomatoes and carrots and you name it.
Now what you're talking about is what we around here we call sweet corn.
Called what?
Sweet corn.
Yes.
Ear corn. Yeah. Corn on the cob, as some call it. That's not the corn we produce.
Yeah, you're talking about cow corn, right?
Yeah, feed corn. Yeah.
Well, there is a lot of that. I mean, my uncle has land up in the hills over here, and they don't. Yes, Tim, or yes, 12 Stones. He likes to hint at me. Yes, we are on an hour. We want to just close it up a little bit here. I was going to ask you one more thing. Something else we were talking about. I forgot. I don't know. It's been great meeting you and talking to you. I talked to you one other time about half an hour or actually 45 minutes. That was very neat. It's always neat to meet somebody new and figure out what their story is. And
absolutely.
Well, I really enjoyed this, and I'm honored that you would come on my my live. I've only done. You're the fourth one.
Well, it's my honor to come and have you take some time and listen to me yammer on for a little while.
Well, I enjoyed it, and I'm sure everybody in the chat did too. And
well, it's such a good group of people. What an amazing community.
Yes, it is. I love this community. I mean, I feel like I know them when I really don't, but I do. when we went to shoot dang, it was just amazing. The energy that was coming off of these people is just amazing. But like I said, I really enjoyed this. I'm glad you came on with me, and maybe we can do it some other time in the future and catch up on what's happened, how our channels have grown. And I mean, this is exciting. Our channels are relatively new. You're a little ahead of me. I haven't made monetization yet, but wow.
Well, who knows? Next time, we love going to Maine to see people like Kyle Jones and up there and stuff like that, and Vermont. So who knows? Maybe next time we blow through Erie and towards your direction, we'll stop in and see the vineyard.
We're right off the thruway. Oh, and you guys are actually a lot closer to us than all these people from Shoot Dang were. I mean, I don't have to travel.
There you go.
16 hours. There's a couple of other channels I've met that are in the Cincinnati region, and there's Maddie's up just on the west coast, or not coast, the west of Cleveland, I think.
Okay. Now I'll go ahead and say the joke. We're from Southern Ohio, so you know why all the trees in Ohio lean to the north, right?
No.
Because Cleveland sucks.
Tell the chicken joke.
The chicken joke? You mean like the one I told planting corn the other day?
Yeah. It was.
Is that how you want people to remember? Or like
it was so odd that it was funny. It was.
All right. This is gonna be the last thing that I'll say. Close it out with a stupid chicken joke. All right. So why did the chicken cross the road?
Why?
Because. Gosh,
that's such a dad joke.
Oh my gosh. And I love it. I love the fact that I do it. My kids just shake their heads. I love it. I love being dad joke guy.
Well,
fantastic.
Hey, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
And I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna say goodnight to the people, and thank you very much.
Bye, everybody. God bless.
Sleep well. All right, Kyle Jones and 12 Stones Ranch. Thank you guys so much for joining me this evening with Troy, Bar Run Forge. That was pretty enjoyable. Thank you very much, Rebecca Davis, Touched by Yarn and More. These hats are amazing. I'm going to close out wearing my hat. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week. Oh, wait a minute. I wrote it down. I have to say it. There's two things I have to announce. Saturday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to have a live with Kinfolk Farm. And I'd like you to join me for that if you're available. And tomorrow night, I haven't picked the hour yet, but I'm going to release my next premiere. So keep your eye out for that. I'll be posting it on the Vineyard Farmhouse, where everybody can post their videos. And yeah, I'll see you guys later next week. Wednesday after MT Homestead. Oh, another thing. Full Blown Country. He is supposed to be live at 7 Central Standard Time. If I'm wrong, I'll correct it in the Vineyard Farmhouse post. But I believe I'm right. Okay? Thank you very much. You guys have a good night. Thanks for joining me.